How's it going, everyone? This is Larry Bevan with the Farmstead Way. Got some downtime here at work, and I wanted to give a final view, my final thoughts on this Northern Knife Works S30V stainless steel drop point dagger sent to me by Erica's EDC for testing. So I've been using this knife for an everyday carry, and I've also been using it for work. So I use a fixed blade knife every day for the type of stuff that I do, whether it is blue collar work or stuff around my homestead. And I just want to give you my honest thoughts on this, what I like about it and what I don't like about it. It's obviously fixed blade knife, stainless steel, Kydex sheath. It did not have this belt clip on it, but I had a couple of these lying around, so I went ahead and threw this on here. And in the sheath, I gotta say, this thing is extremely comfortable. The sheath design and the way the blade and the handle is, it really sits close to your body. You almost forget it's there. The blade itself, it's got a little drop point to it, pretty thin, really sharp edge, pretty narrow grip. It's got some thumb jimping here on the blade. So here's the things I liked about this knife. I like the overall size of the knife. It works really good. It's not too big, it's not too small. It's got that good middle ground to it. This thing had an extremely sharp edge on it when I first got it, and was able to slice through paper. It feels really good in the hand. Like I said, it's the perfect size for it. Now, some of the things I didn't like about this knife, and just warning, so the S30V, if I can say that correctly, steel, has got really good edge retention until you run it up against something that's really abrasive. So I was cutting through an underbelly, working on a mobile home, and it worked really good going through the underbelly, but as soon as this thing touched the pink underbelly insulation, it went really dull and was unable to slice through paper. Now, the ability for a knife to slice through paper, in my opinion, is really cool for an edge test, but it's not very practical for everyday carry, because when you're using a knife, you need something that's durable. And I don't know about you, but I'm not cutting through paper every single day. I'm going to be cutting through zip ties, gonna have to cut through insulation, have to cut through shingles, and I need something that's got a good, strong edge to it. So it kind of sucks when you have a knife that's razor sharp, and as soon as it touches something that's abrasive, your edge is gone. They have other types of steel that have better abrasion resistance. And if you're just going to carry this thing as a replacement for a pocket folder where you're going to be using it every once in a while, great blade. If you're trying to use it for work, for hard use, not really the best. The other biggest sticking point I have about this that I did not like about this knife is the grip. So as you can see, it gets thicker by the blade. It's got that sweet finger groove, which I love, but it gets really narrow at the end, which when you're trying to draw this out of your sheath, I felt a couple times there was nothing really to get a hold of. The grips on this are really cool, but they are really smooth. So if you've got gloves on, if you're trying to find it and get it to in a pinch, there's almost nothing to grab onto. Now, when I grab a knife, normally I get it more by the bottom side. And with this Kydex sheath, it has really good retention. I mean, it's not going to come out of there unless you grab it, push against the thumb brace or whatever you want to call that on the sheath, and it'll pop out. So I found myself going to grab this thing a lot of time, and my hand would just slip right off of there, which when you need a knife, unless you get a good full purchase on it, you're going to be fishing for it, and that kind of sucks. If I was going to redo this knife handle, I would almost take this grip and keep it the same thickness of the blade all the way down, and add almost another one of these finger grooves right here. So when you go to grab it, like from the back, you actually have something to grab onto, because you don't always have the luxury of clearing your garment and getting a full grip. Sometimes you grab it like this. Sometimes you got to reach behind you and grab it, which the point, at least in my experience, of a super thin grip like this is for things like daggers. Because I watched a video of an old British SF guy talking about when you are holding a dagger, you don't hold it like this. You don't hold it like this. You get a good grip with your forefinger and the rest just kind of hangs loose, which would mean that the grip on the very end doesn't have to be super thick. But when you have a knife like this, you want to be able to have a confident grip on it. Because say, let me grab a stick real fast. Say if you want to slice through something and you go slice through it, and especially if you get caught, your hand is going to slide down the grip. And just from weightlifting, the things that I figured out is that a lot of your grip comes from these two fingers. So, in my opinion, you want a lot of beef in the back side of this handle so you can be able to grab it and really go through without having to worry about your hand sliding down the blade and whing, flipping the blade across the across the ground. I really like this gimping also, but something I really wish this knife had is I wish this gimping, which you can kind of see it right there, I wish this went almost halfway down the blade, because that is for thumb support. But you know, if you've got big hands, you know, only the maybe first third of your thumb covers the gimping, and if you have to do something really delicate, I want as much grip there on the end as possible. Other than that, the knife is really sweet. The overall design is really good. Levi did a really good job making this. Now, all the complaints I have with this can just be solved by picking a different knife. Like I said, I'm pretty sure this wasn't designed for hard, every day, several times a day, doing, you know, digging and prying and, you know, really getting into things. It's made for you pull it out, you slice through something, you put it back, or a defense knife. I think this knife is trying to be maybe too many things in one, a fighting knife, an EDC knife, and a bushcraft knife. Sometimes knives and gear needs to stay in their own lane. And I feel like this knife tries to do a little bit too much of everything. So if this blade was on a different handle, it would be absolutely perfect for me. I love the Kingdom of Heaven quote where Godfrey is fighting with Balian and he does a cool flip around of his sword and he tells him that the blade isn't the only part of a sword. Well, the blade isn't the only part of a knife. The grip is just as important of the overall usefulness of the knife. Other than that, I have not had any complaints with it. I haven't bent the tip on it, fortunately. I think I got maybe a nick or two on the blade because I was cutting through a zip tie and it slammed into some sheet metal because I was trying to use it to cut a zip tie. And like I said, it's really good for edge retention, not really good for abrasiveness. And I like a knife that you can take and slam it into a piece of ductwork and twist it and pull it back out and it's going to survive. Maybe that's a little rough, but hey, that's what I got to do sometimes. So Levi, you did a really good job with this knife. It'd be really cool to see a knife that's more geared towards heavy blue collar use, almost like a urban bushcraft in a sense, or workplace bushcraft, because I don't need this for fire starting. I don't need this for batoning. I need a good knife to get me out of a pinch at work and on the farm. And that means the knife has to be robust. Got to be heavy duty. So like I said, maybe I was just using this for something that it really wasn't intended for. But other than that, the grips have not come loose at all. The blade has not chipped. The tip is not bent. It just feels really comfortable. Just a few little tweaks, and boy, would this thing be perfect. So in its sheath, really sleek design. I almost feel like this knife would be really good as a scout carry knife to carry it in this position because it's so small and it hugs the body so well. It would be super comfortable to carry it in the scout position, especially with how good the sheath retention is. So here this weekend, I'll be mailing this back to Erica to send off to the next person. And I just want to thank her so much for this opportunity to review the Drop Point Dagger by Northern Nightworks. If you I'll post a link to Levi's channel down below, as well as Erica's channel. And if you like this content, like, share, and subscribe. If you have any stories or any things that you like about fixed blade knives, work knives, or Levi's knives, leave a comment down below. I'd love to chat with you guys. So this is Larry Ben with the Farmstead Way. You all take it easy. And Erica, thank you so much for this opportunity. Y'all take it easy.